Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. I'm here with Nathan and Lindsay, and we are out off-roading the 2021 Honda Ridgeline. Now, as Nathan and I were just talking about, this is the HPD version of the Ridgeline, but it's mostly just an appearance package. A cool appearance package if you're into that sort of thing, but as we'll see here when we hop on the trail, it's capable, but not really, it's not any more capable than just any standard Ridgeline.
It's got all the paint, it's got the lettering, it's got the decals, but it's kind of just a little bit, it doesn't have anything underneath to back it up.
Right.
Being a normal Ridgeline, like, that's totally fine, but like when you got all this, like you got these brass wheels, Honda performance development on it, and yet it's just a normal Ridgeline underneath it.
All right, well, let's get behind the wheel and get the AC going again. It's a little bit toasty up here. I will say this white paint is pretty.
I was just thinking that.
When you see it sparkle in the sun. I could probably do without the plastic cladding, but
the way this truck looks, I like the interior. There are interiors that are nicer.
Right.
But
it
does a good job. But I just can't get, I don't like cars and trucks and anything that doesn't do what it says it does. This says Honda Performance Development on it, yet there's nothing underneath the truck that will back it up.
It's a bit of a poser, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. This interior, we were talking about a bit earlier, it does a good job for being a base truck. And I will say, on the way up here, we were in the saddle for over 4 hours and perfectly comfortable, even with these manually adjustable seats, no adjustable lumbar. There's a lot of usable space in here, so you got this big old under thing. My whole camera bag is fitting in there, and you got decent sized cup holders and a good amount of practical storage. The infotainment is still not great. Honda definitely doesn't lead the way with their infotainment, but thank goodness you have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay support, so you can just plug in and kind of go from there. If you do want to see more on the truck, we've got a sound system demo to this base 7-speaker audio system, as well as a highway fuel economy test, which I will say the Ridgeline did amazing in. 28 miles per gallon. You're definitely not going to get that with anything with this size of bed. Maybe the new Hyundai Santa Fe will get 28 miles per gallon, but that's a very small bed.
Or you got the Ford Maverick, but that's like an escape pickup truck.
Right, that'll be even less. Well, I won't say less capable. If they throw all-wheel drive and a lift on it, it could be pretty capable. But knowing Ford, they're probably going to do the same thing Honda did. They're going to have some like FX4 package, but it's not going to be lifted. It's going to have pedestrian tires. I don't know. Ford did a good job with the Bronco Sport, so maybe it'll translate. Low speed, this thing is definitely capable. I never felt like we were gonna get stuck. In fact, when we were coming up this, I crawled pretty slowly to kind of see, all right, are we noticing any slip? Do I need to utilize Honda's terrain management control? No, it did great. Even if I slam on the brakes right now, I mean, we're at a pretty decent incline and it stopped pretty quick. But no, I certainly don't get any confidence high speed. The suspension it's basic. Yeah. So it's not giving us a soft, supple ride. It's almost kind of like M Sport on BMWs. It's not an M, but they're putting marketing. M there. Yeah, it's pure all marketing. Right. Like on the Civic, you get the HPD Sport Civic, but it comes with the base engine. Doesn't even come with the higher horsepower turbocharged engine. And Nathan's kind of saying that with this Ridgeline as well, that yeah, maybe Honda doesn't actually intend for this to be any more off-road capable than just a standard Ridgeline, but then if they don't have that ethos, then it's purely for those types who want to look like they do cool sporty stuff. Oh yeah, right there. I felt there. It was actually it was opposite of bottoming. I was hitting the top of the suspension and
did both.
Right. It's just not a super advanced. It does have the ground clearance, and that's, I mean, we have not had any sort of scraping or any rubbing, which is very important for this sort of thing to be able to go a little faster. And we've had the grip. Yeah. So yeah, if you were going to do this type of stuff regularly, you'd be better served with something like an FX4 or a Tremor, maybe Ranger, or something like that AT4 Canyon that we just tested, or something like that. But if you just need to do occasional two-tracking or something, this Ridgeline will do plenty good. And then when you get on road, as we'll see here in a second, it's a very nice place to be.
I guess here's what I would say about it. Yes, it's brilliant off-road. It's doing all this perfectly fine. I just want to get this package because it looks a little bit ridiculous in my opinion. not having anything to back it up, like a pilot could do this.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to come to a stop on this hill, and then we'll see. We're in sand mode right now. Let's see what we can do.
Oh.
Foot's to the floor.
Oh, that VTEC.
That was the tow hitch.
Okay.
And then you pull out back on the street. You switch it back to normal mode.
It sounds really good.
It does sound decent, yeah. And I mean, you're getting a V6 naturally aspirated. This is absolutely going to be more reliable than the 2.7 EcoBeast in the Ranger.
That's a 4-cylinder.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I do not like that. I would much rather. You get the VTEC in this. When you feel it kick in,
Right.
I haven't really experienced VTEC all that much. I haven't driven many Hondas, but I know what it sounds like, and now I know what it feels like, and it feels so good, especially in this.
Even over the last 289 miles, still averaging 20 miles per gallon, and that was with towing a motorcycle and a trailer, and doing that off-roading twice now with the filming and putzing around. I mean, this thing is a plenty nice place to be. It takes the right sort of buyer for a Ridgeline, but I think that buyer is incredibly satisfied with this sort of truck.
I don't think this truck would tickle most truck buyers' pride that well. Imagine taking the muffler off this.
That would sound pretty darn good.
Oh, I was listening to videos of the Honda Accord V6 from like the early 2000s. Those sound amazing.
Right.
When you open those things up, let them breathe.
Honda really knows how to make a great V6, and I think that's kind of because they never made a V8 that I know of. I don't think they ever put a V8 in anything.
No.
But that means they've really perfected their 3.5 liter V6. Because it's, I mean, think of all the things it's gone in. The Ridgeline, the Pilot, the Odyssey. Was it the 3.5 that went in the Accord? Or was it a smaller V6?
They had both.
Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, that Honda V6 engine is just so well perfected at this point that you put it in an application like this and you get good fuel economy, you get good power. It's
reliability.
Yeah, you get the whole package. There's not too many powertrains on the market that you know you're going to get all of those.
And this thing is going to last forever.
Right. That's the other nice thing about a Ridgeline is you could go and do things like that. You can do your errands, you can tow, you can do all this stuff. And if you're the type of person who wants to own a vehicle essentially forever and then hand it down and get a new one, the Ridgeline is great for
And
that.
then don't forget about A, resale value, and B, pre-owned ownership.
That's a good point. Is even Ridgelines that have 300,000 miles on them are still there. It's almost like Toyota Tacomas and Tundras in terms of their value. So Nathan and I both agree that this isn't the worst, but also not the best shifting setup. You kind of get used to it, but it's not as intuitive as some of the others.
If you want to be fast, it's not that good.
Right.
Nothing beats the rotary shifters are good for that.
Sure. Yeah.
Mainly things that, like, shifter, you go back and it hits something.
Yes.
And you know that's in the right gear. And then you go
Right.
forward and you can feel where it is. This you can just hunt and pecking like you are
Right.
on a keyboard.
That's true. Backseat comfort, good?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really comfy.
You even have, now that it's too late, but you have a little armrest that can go there. Plenty of leg room. These seats flip up, so that was plenty good for storage and everything. Although in the Sport, you don't get any sort of window that opens. That's a bit of a bummer. But you do have air vents back there. That's good.
You know one little quirk I noticed? You open this up, this is where the mirror would go in the Pilot.
You're right, and the Odyssey probably.
Well, maybe it'd get...
Look, it even will hold right there.
Maybe it'd go in this if this was the...
An upper level
Yeah.
trim. Yeah, you're right. So
Although-
it just shows you that you cheaped out.
Although, with how nice this interior actually is for being the base model, like, I didn't even know it was the base model until you told me.
Right.
I don't know why they just put that in there. You think it'd be cheaper anyway, just to manufacture one thing.
Neat. All right, well, Honda Ridgeline. Like I said, if you want to see more on this truck, check the links in the description. We'll have the sound test and the fuel economy test. We've also got a car court argument with Chris Brower. But I think it's cool. I actually kind of prefer the looks of the pre-facelift, but this isn't bad. And if you want to be a little showy, you pick the HPD model. But if you want to be more honest with yourself and with everyone else, you kind of skip that package and save like $3,000.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, thanks to Nathan and Lindsay for coming along on this review. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.